Okay, in this video I just thought I'd run through the video sizes for the new ProRes options on the Panasonic GH6. So this will be similar to what we did in the other video modes. If you've watched this channel before, we covered the other video modes on the camera. I'll link to that above so you can kind of watch that if you haven't seen it already. But it's basically just a run through of how much you can kind of fit onto a card, so you can have a realistic idea of, what storage you're going to need, and maybe what shooting options would be right for you with the storage you do have. So currently, at the time of shooting this video, the latest firmware version is firmware 2.0, and that's the one that's given us new ProRes options along with a few bug fixes and other bits. But yeah, if you haven't got that yet and you haven't upgraded to the latest firmware, I'll leave a link above to a video that will show you how to kind of do all of that. If you haven't updated, you'll know, because you'll only have like a few ProRes options, whereas you'll see a lot more in this video. Even if you're not using ProRes, it's worth upgrading to that latest firmware because it's got a few bug fixes and other bits in there that are worth upgrading to. So yeah, make sure you do that sort of regardless of whether you're going to do this or not. So the reason I kind of decided to do this is because I've just received a new Manfrotto 128 gig card, and it's quite rare that I've ever got a clean card to kind of do this stuff on. So I thought, before actually breaking it open and starting shooting with it, I'll just have a quick go and sort of have a look how much we can capture onto these cards. So it's yeah, if we'll jump into the camera and I'll kind of I'll show you some of the options here. So the first thing we need to do, if we jump into the video menu and then into the next menu, which is kind of the film strip, it's like the third one down, and then we've got the file record format. So we've got MP4, MOV or MOV, and Apple ProRes. So if we click on Apple ProRes, this is a little bit of a quirk in the new firmware. So you click on it and it says the selected record quality cannot be recorded to the card. It's got to be recorded to CF Express card, basically. And that did used to be true, but it's actually not anymore, because you can come down to the record quality, and we'll quickly have a look at this. So you can see here, record slot available. You should be able to just about see there's a box with a 1 in it. So obviously 1 CF Express Type B and 2 is SD. If we go down, all of these 4K and 5.7K, they're all only slot 1. But then when we get into the HD modes, which a lot of people are obviously still using, we've got slot 1 and slot 2. So worth bearing in mind at this point, these 4 can be recorded to both slots. So you will need a good quality SD card. I can link below to some of the approved ones, but yeah, you'll need a good quality SD card. But you can record to both, so that gives you the options of backup recording, relay recording. If you don't know what I'm talking about there, I'll link above to a video that kind of gives you the options for backup and things like that. And then obviously worth noting that once you get to here, right now that's only going to the CF Express Type B card. So there is no option for backup or relay, so you're kind of sacrificing that to use this ProRes option. So it's kind of worth noting that before we go ahead. So what we'll do, let's take out the SD card just so we don't get any kind of false readings on it, because some of it can be read or captured on that card, so I don't want it to think that's part of what we're doing. Put that one in. Okay, so we're just on one card now. Sorry about the flashing bit at the bottom. I can't really do anything about that because I don't want that card in there. So if we go right down to the bottom, you can see now we've got so this is full HD, 25 frames, 422, and if we click on that, we've got you'll be able to see our recording times here. We've got our recording times at just a second. So you can see down there we've got our recording time. So you can get 2 hours 14 out of this ProRes option in 25 frames, which is pretty good really. That is quite good. And then 422 HQ, we've got 1 hour 29, so a fairly significant drop there. We lose, over half an hour of footage. And then these are the 50 frame options. So if you're on NTSC, you'll be looking at sort of 30 to 60 equivalent, minor 25 and 30. So full HD 50 422, you're looking at 1 hour and 7 minutes for the 128 gig. And the full HD 50 frames 422 HQ, you're looking at 44 minutes now, so it's getting well below an hour. So it's just worth kind of noting there. If you're going up into those higher frame rates, you possibly are going to need extra cards and things. I know for me, I always make sure I've got a good few hours of footage plus backup recording space as well. So it just depends what you shoot. You might not need anywhere near that, but it's just worth knowing. So next one, C4K 25 frames 422. We've got just over 30 minutes, so already in the first 4K option we're fairly low already, so just half an hour of recording there. And in 422 HQ we've got 20 minutes, so it's really 128 gig is starting to not seem like very much at this point. So C4K 50 frames, this is at 422. We've got 15 minutes, just over 15 minutes there, which again, that's starting to not become enough. I mean, really for anything. C4K 50 frames, 422 HQ, 10 minutes, 128 gig card, that is 10 minutes. And then once we get up to the 5.7K options, we've got two options there. They're both 25 frames. One of them is 422 and one of them is 422 HQ. So if we do 422 first, so you can shoot at just under 16 minutes of 5.7K in 422. And 422 HQ, again 25 frames, you've got just over 10 minutes again. So yeah, it's if you haven't got a very, very big CF Express card, which you might not, because they are really expensive to be honest. I mean, this card is about I think it was between 110 and 120 pounds, and that's for a 128 gig card. So realistically, if you're looking to work with those really big file formats in a CF Express card, you're looking at hundreds of pounds in storage essentially. So it does really start to creep up. I mean, the sort of the thing that everybody's kind of hoping for is for the SSD recording to come very soon, because that's going to give us the option to be able to just use SSD drives, and it's going to save us so much money on storage. Because for the price of this, you could be buying, I mean, I can't really speculate on it because I don't know what drives the camera's going to support, but let's say for example it'll support one of those SanDisk travel drives. I think I've got one in this drawer actually. So say it supports one of these drives, the SanDisk travel drive. You've got you can get sort of 2 terabytes of storage drive for one of those for under £150. So that's a huge improvement over what we can get in CF Express cards. And the same with the Samsung T5 or T7 drives. I imagine it would be the T7 drive with this, because it's got a 3.2 Gen USB port. But again, that's complete speculation, so don't go buying SSD drives assuming they're going to work with the camera, because I have no idea. I've got no affiliation with Panasonic, so I can't speculate on any of that stuff. But it's essentially I think that's what everybody's waiting for, because that's going to really help with the actual amount you have to spend and the workflow of this, because you really don't want to have to be switching cards out all the time or having to buy one huge card that has no backup. I mean, my real hope is that the CF Express card becomes a backup drive for the SSD card, for the SSD drive. And again, I don't know that to be true, but I really want that to be a thing. I want there to be some kind of redundancy for the SSD drive, because you're running off an external USB wire, and things can go wrong. So I'd really like that to be a thing. But yeah, hopefully you found this video helpful or useful. If you have, give the video a like. If you want more updates on the Panasonic GH6, then please subscribe to the channel. Or if you want to check out more kind of help videos on it, there's a playlist on this channel with about 80 videos on it. So yeah, hopefully you find some use in some of those.